Where are you on the argument? Not the argument, is a statistic for you. I was looking the other day and thinking, he's just won this world title or beaten Hrgović on June the 1st. He's fighting on September the 21st, which is 111 days between fighting. He's fought Gerald Miller and Usyk over the last 9 months. Anthony Joshua's had a nice little break, fought Ngannou. Is there not an element of...
Helenius, Ngannou and the other one.
Yeah, but Ngannou was his last fight.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is, in the last 6 months, your boy, Daniel's fought on June the 1st. But this is my point. Is there not any... Because normally we get to listen to, we can't have a fight without proper preparation. He's had less than 4 months. Does that, in any shape or form, disadvantage him? Given the fact that he's come off the back of 2 difficult fights. Gerald Miller was a difficult fight. Hrgović was a difficult fight. And bang, 111 days later, he's into a world title against arguably the most
Gerald Miller was a difficult fight. He won every round. I thought he boxed really well and won every round.
You thought it was so difficult, you called his father to the side of the ring to get him to liven up.
So it was difficult. He just wasn't focusing and listening in that round. But it weren't a difficult fight for him. Once he was doing what he was doing, once he was actually letting his shots go. So you're not worried in any shape or form. I'm not offering you an excuse out here. No, I'm not.
I'm just saying it's very unusual.
I think it's an advantage for him.
He's a young
because of the momentum.
He's a young man.
Why do we always listen?
Sorry,
they need more time.
He's a young man. He's not an old fighter. He's a young man. What's he? He's eight years older than him.
Yeah, but I think that with that momentum, Daniel's that type of character, and I see him because I've seen him in the gym with Don Charles. So I've seen how they're training.
How good is he looking?
He's looking great. Because he's that type of kid that needs that. He needs that activity.
Just a question.
The inactivity, I think, works against him. So I think that actually it puts him in a better space going into the Joshua
I think it's a nice thing to see. But too often we're listening to that XYZ amount of fighters need XYZ amount of time.
Who says that, though?
But you
depends on the fighter.
But honestly, it depends on the age of the fighter, the fights that he's been in.
I'll remind you of that when it comes around again.
Well, you can remind me, but it depends on
the fighter.
So
it's subjective.
You can't just say every fighter can fight 4 or 5 times a year.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying simply in the heavyweight division, you often get to hear that people need some time to recover. If it's not a concern, it's not a concern.
Well, if they've been in a tough fight, of course they do.
Which he was in against Hrgović.
How was it a tough fight? He smashed Hrgović to bits.
Are you having that?
Well,
we just sat here. You just sat here and said to him.
It was very tough
for 2 rounds.
For the first couple of rounds, it was very tough. He got hit with 30, 40 right hands that he can't get taken off with Anthony Joshua, and he come through that, and then he did bash Hrgović up.
All right, it's a red herring.
Done a job on him.
He did do a job on him, and he was a big underdog for that going into that fight for me.
Massive underdog,
a huge underdog.
Right, he's a red herring then. What do you make of Anthony Joshua's last 12 months? I saw you the other day talking to Eddie Hearn and Eddie Hearn having his view on what your fighter was doing and how he was this, that, and the other. Right? What's your view on what Anthony Joshua's done? Because I made a comment, insofar as my comments have any relevance, about the fact that Anthony Joshua hadn't gone to the well, hadn't gone to the space where people questioned that he could still go to, which was a dark place when it gets stuck on him. Right? Because I don't think it got stuck on him by Jermaine Franklin. I don't think Helenius stuck it up on him. I don't think WOULDN did. You've already expressed that he was disappointed with him. And Ngannou got done to him, which your boy should have done to him in the first place, which was put on his arse. Right? But what do you make of the last 12 months? Because there's now this camp that there's a better version. This is the best version of Anthony Joshua.
It's just more than that. He's got a new trainer.
Change of trainer, yeah.
He's got a new trainer, and he seems to have gelled with him. And Ben's a good trainer, so he's doing well with him. And he's built a confidence level on with the level of fighters he's been in with. What do I think of it?
Yeah. You think you got? Is this the best version of Anthony Joshua that's been around?
I'll tell you after the fight. Not at this stage.
I think
not beating anybody.
The rebuilding process for Anthony Joshua since the Usyk defeats have been over 2 years, and that rebuilding is not with the physical side with him. That's all here, the psychological side. And I think that right now he's probably in the best headspace he's been in for a long, long time since go back to the Klitschko days.
Yeah, and the question is if Daniel Dubois gives him one on the chin, is he going to still be in that same condition mentally?
But no one can answer that until only he'll answer that.
Klitschko did that to him, put him on his arse, and it's only that Klitschko then backed off him afterwards. You wonder where that fight would have gone.
Answer me an undiplomatic question. Your boy's the IBF champion of the world.
Yeah.
How's this build Joshua versus Dubois? And how am I listening to you sit on a table with the gloves are off, being told that your boy's been given a shot?
Because when we made the fight, as I said at the start of this, it was against Hrgović, and the winner of that was going to fight Joshua. That was how it was planned out. And if Joshua...
Is it just a tacit acceptance you're the B side of the coin?
Of course, he was at that stage. He was the B side.
But you're not. You're the IBF champion now.
Well, that's now, but I can't change around what the contracts were.
So it's just based upon what it was originally.
At that time, it was the moment in time. If we was doing it now, it'd be a different ball game.
Right.
Frank, you mentioned there the gloves are off. That all that kicked off there, that was quite good to see Daniel Dubois actually coming out of himself a little bit, getting into Anthony Joshua, mind games playing and everything else. Was that genuine needle between the two there?
Of course it was. I mean,
yeah.
It's no nonsense with it. He'd done the same thing against Hrgovic.
He's shown Daniel's shown a different side to him since the AJ thing. I'm sorry, since the Don Charles, since the team up with Don Charles, he's showing a lot more confidence.
Since the fight with Usyk, he seems to he's matured mentally.
He's turned the corner,
and he's also matured a bit more physically. He's a different type of guy, and he's more confident in what he's doing. And that confidence level at the moment is very, very high. And you've got to maintain that on the night. And if the confidence is there, I really fancy him to do the job.
Because there is a difference in Daniel, isn't there? Because there's been a couple of occasions, and again, I'm not being disrespectful, but he's been a mute in press conferences. You know, when Gerald Miller was giving him the big one.
But he did come back at Miller at that press conference. I can't remember what he said to him.
It was about being
putting a baby to bed,
and he's going to be his daddy.
And that was the line of the press conference.
But I've also noticed that recently, as he's gotten more and more on camera, I saw some digital footage where he's talking to one of the digital guys, whoever it was, and I noticed that his level of eloquence and articulation is becoming more varied, which means he's getting more confident, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the part where Daniel doesn't shine, is the ability to communicate with the media, which is difficult. I know, I'm not criticising, I'm just saying.
Because he's never been bothered. It's like one of those things where, he's a quiet guy. I mean, you'd like to have been in the era of George Foreman, because he never spoke to anybody.
Oh, was he?
He
was.
He never,
German Alsatian.
First round, he wouldn't say nothing at all. I mean, he wouldn't speak. He had no time for the media. And then, but you look at him now. He obviously was in. I want to say it, he was in the shadow of his dad, because his dad's a big character in his life.
Yep.
And that's how he was. And he didn't have it. He's found his voice now. And the last round table things that he's done, certainly with Hrgovic and with AJ, he showed no. It's not that he doesn't.
Were you surprised by the reaction? Because AJ went straight for the "don't you disrespect me" nonsense, right? Which, by the way,
I was shocked. Yeah,
he's not in the business of having to respect AJ, is he? He's in the business of being able to tell him, "I'm going to beat you up."
Well, he's the two-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist, wealth of experience, and he's looking at him like he's a kid. But he's a kid who, by the way, is very confident, having sparred with him when he was a kid. Remember, he's much older than him. And when he was that kid, he handled himself against him and hurt him. I know there's all this stuff going around. I've heard various conversations. Yeah. Fowler came out this week. He said he was there and see it happen. And I, you always hear stories. The story I heard is he done a job on him, and they took people's phones off him up in the gym up in.
Yeah, but as they both say, I mean,
but the thing is, if you're but the point I'm making
doesn't matter.
But the point I'm making about that is that he was a young man then, and he knows he can hurt him. He hurt him then, and he's much stronger now. He's more developed. He's physically a bigger person, physically stronger, and he hurt him then. So he knows if he gets.
We know he's got power. I mean, is this a really important time because people talk about the fact he's 26 years of age. And, 27. I don't know, 27 now.
Last week.
Yeah, 27. So, Anthony Joshua, he won the world title when he was 27. And we've had other world title holders. I mean, Tyson's the other extreme, Mike Tyson's the other extreme end of the equation. He was 21, and you've had other fighters, Ali, of course, back in the day. I don't know how old Tyson Fury was when he won the world title. He must have been 27, 26 as well when he won it in 2015. Right? Is it kind of now? Because with you've got this brilliant ability. And I don't mean to blow smoke up your arse, but you've got this brilliant ability of being able to seemingly own the heavyweight division. You've got Tyson Fury at the top end. You've got Daniel Dubois in the middle to top end. You've got Moses Atuma coming up, who I think is going to be the next phenomenon. Daniel Dubois may well get the benefit of the old guard disappearing over the hill if he doesn't win this fight against Anthony Joshua. But looming in the background is this boy, Moses Atuma, coming up like a steam train. Is he really got to take advantage of the landscape now?
Yeah, he's got to win. I mean, this is his time. This is his time now. And, it's like the pressure's not on him. The pressure's on AJ. As you said, in there, the majority of the crowd will be behind him in a big way. The pressure is on AJ to deliver.
Is it?
I think,
everyone. Let me just finish this point. Everyone's sitting there going, not everyone, but a lot of people, mean-spirited, are going, you never won the IBF title. You've been gifted it. So isn't he under pressure to go into that fight and win it because it validates the fact that ultimately he wasn't gifted?
What I mean by the pressure is that for those two guys, and it's again, like with the betting favourites and all this thing, that's what he is. So everybody, most people you speak to think it's going to be, he's going to swallow, he's going to be a walkout, that's the mentality. So the pressure is on AJ to do that. And for me, I'm telling you, if this kid catches him, and I believe he will catch him,
there'll be trouble ahead.
I think it's going to be something different. And when you get older as a fighter, right? Suddenly, bang, it's not there.
The reason the pressure is on AJ, not Daniel Dubois, is because of that age.
Because of the expectation.
Because of the age, yeah. Like if Anthony Joshua loses his fight to Daniel Dubois next week, that rebuilding process is going to take too long. Like he can come again, Daniel, can't he? Like what I'm saying is he's 27 years of age. It's all about he can get himself back up there. AJ must. No, but AJ
I'll tell you another
must
thing in his mind. You look a couple of weeks ago, you had Ruiz in with Miller.
Yeah.
And Miller beat him.
Yeah.
He won that fight.
Yeah.
You look at that.
Yeah.
And you look at Ruiz in with AJ, and you look at Miller against him. So you start looking at the full.
We're giving Agovic big licks, and your boy ZHILEI ZHANG beat him.
Sorry?
We can run the argument about who won and who didn't win, because we can look back on the argument that you would advance, which was
I thought ZHANG won it. I said that.
Agovic got beat by ZHILEI ZHANG.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with that, and I did think he did win it. But no one wanted to fight him afterwards. I mean, that's the facts of life.
Let's transition away from AJ.
And by the way, Joshua wouldn't fight ZHILEI ZHANG. They were in the same camp at the time.
Why is that then?
Better ask them.
I'm just assuming you might know, given the fact you brought it up. Right.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.